hello again. It's still Saturday, and I'm just doing a little part 2 of this morning's vlog. Now I want to talk about the state of our streets and the road users out there. Now, a few days ago on Wednesday, I drove home from the south coast. Not a problem. There's not so much in the way of traffic anymore. The level of traffic is like it was 20, 30 years ago, which is not surprising given the cost of petrol these days. But I saw quite a few things that are disturbing, and it seems like it's being ignored in Hull. I don't know whether it's city-wide or whether it's countrywide. But I've noticed that there are a lot of cyclists out there who dress in dark clothing, have no reflectors on their bikes, and more importantly, they don't have any lights. They don't realise how invisible they are. It's only when you get within your car light beam length away that these people become visible. There was a scooter rider as well, one of these electric scooters which are banned, I believe, in Hull. I don't think these e-scooters aren't allowed to be used on the road in Hull, and certainly I don't think that there's a rental agency in Hull. I'll check, but anyway, so there was a scooter rider on the road, dressed completely head to foot in black. No lights, no reflectors, nothing. Again, invisible until you're almost upon them. These people are putting their lives at risk. And then, of course, you have the traffic in and around the city of Hull. They park where they like, when they like. Doesn't matter who they upset or who they inconvenience. Now, there's a van that parks in Hull on... Well, it parks in the mandatory cycle lane. This is a cycle lane marked with a solid white light. There's no time limit on it. It's 24 hours a day. Right? You don't park in a mandatory cycle lane. Yet he's been there for months and months and months, and no one is turning. Everyone's turning a blind eye to it. The police, the council, everybody are turning a blind eye to this guy. Now, there were several cars parked along the entire length of the road from the centre of town to where I live. There's mandatory cycle lanes, and where they are, parked, they're parked illegally. You know, how do you expect a cyclist to use a cycle lane when there's a car parked in it? That forces that person out into the road. Anyway, that's another thing, and then. Cars are parked on street corners. Right round where I live, there's a great deal of cars that are parked within a few metres of a junction. I think is it 10 metres? You're not allowed to park 10 metres within the 10 metres of a junction. The reason that you do that is so that you can see around the corner, so you can see if pedestrians are crossing the road. Well, and that's another thing. Pedestrians haven't read the new highway code. They're allowed to cross the road at a junction, and a car driver has to stop. Now, quite yesterday when I went into town to get something, and I stopped to let people cross, and they seemed quite surprised that I would actually stop to allow them to cross. But that's the highway code. I have to stop and allow these pedestrians to cross. Same as if it was a cycle path across that road. The cyclist can continue on. I have to stop for the cyclist. But nobody reads the highway code. I don't think there's many people that have read the highway code since they passed their driving test, which I find quite shocking, especially when the RAC are telling us that drivers don't read the highway code. That brings me on to the highway code. The RAC telling us about the charges for people speeding now. It used to be 10% plus 3 miles an hour over the limit. So that's now changed to 2 miles an hour over the limit. So they're gradually bringing down the tolerance for people speeding. So if you got caught doing 25 in a 20, like that policewoman I spoke to before, now that would have given you 3 points on your licence and £100 fine. But now that's come down to 24 miles an hour through a 20 zone. It doesn't sound a lot, but if you're not really paying attention, it was quite easy to do 25 in a 20. It was quite easy to do 35 in a 30. So we've got to start being careful. That's why I've got one of these road angels that tells me my actual speed, and it also tells me the speed of the road. Now, sometimes Road Angel gets it wrong, so don't treat it like it is gospel. But yeah, just remember that Road Angel can get it wrong. So it's always worth checking. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know what's happening in this country at the moment. We've got no law enforcement. People drive as they like. They go the wrong side of traffic islands. They don't stop for pedestrians. They just it just seems to be one law for one and one law for another, with no fear of prosecution. Anyway, right, that's enough. I'll try and get this one on later on. Okay, see ya. Bye then.